We're here with a meeting of the Naples Daily News Editorial Board, and joining us is Reg Buxton, who's running for a seat on the Naples City Council. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
So, most folks are probably familiar a little bit with your background, but let's go ahead and go into that first, Reg. When did you move to Naples?
About 1990, about 26 years ago. Love it here. Been here for a long time, and I really enjoy the people. Enjoy being part of the community here. Enjoy giving back.
You came from?
When we came here, came from Kansas City, Missouri. Before that, I lived other places, but we were in Kansas City, Missouri before we were here.
Okay.
As you know, I was publisher of the journals, owner and publisher of the journals for 6 or 7 years. Currently am owner and publisher of Life in Naples magazine for the last 4 years. I'm kind of in the public service part of my life, and this is time for me to give back. If I may, my current public service is, obviously, I'm involved in the Blue Zone Engagement Committee. I'm on the City of Naples PAB, has been for the last 3 years. Collier County Emergency Operations Center, I represent the business community there. For 12 years I've done that. Citizen Corps, I've been involved in that. Used to be the chair, I'm now a board member. Been on that for 10 years. Advisory board member for Baskin Pomeroy Institute, which is a wonderful thing in our community. Been there for a couple of years. Advisory board member, Drug Free Collier, been doing that for 3 years. And that's a really important thing. I'm on the Hodges University HemVets Council, which is, we take care of the American veterans, help them get whatever they need. If they need a car, they need a ride, they do something like that. I'm also on Hodges University President Council, been doing that for 10 years. Spirit of 45 chair, which honors all the veterans from the end of World War II, which we lose many every day. I've been doing that for 2 years. Advisory board member of the Collier County Mitigation Board. Been doing that for over 7 years. Freedom Memorial board member, foundation, founding board member, and I'm a member of the Naples Zoo.
So with all of those things going on, Reg, how are you going to find time to serve on the City Council?
Well, a busy person is the best person you can have. You learn how to set your time aside. You learn how to get things done. You honor deadlines, and boards are a series of meetings, and then being in the community. And of course, part of my job is being in the community. Another thing we've done in the last 6 months is we've walked communities. We've walked them every weekend, which was very interesting. I'd like to just, if I could, we walked River Park. Walked River Park the last 2 weekends. Lake Park, Coquina Sands, Old Naples, Aqualane Shores, Royal Harbor, Gulf Shore, Old Naples, and it was really interesting. I thought I had, I've been here over 25 years. I thought I really had a pretty good set on where everybody was and what they did. I found out I didn't know that. So it was a great for me to get out and see that and meet those people. And probably anything I answer here today will be a combination of my experience, what I met, what I learned, I should say, by walking these neighborhoods and talking to people, watching the city council meetings, and research I've done.
What did you hear that surprised you as you walked those neighborhoods?
Everybody hates the traffic, no matter where. The people in River Park wanted a lot of information. They wanted to be kept, have more information given to them, but they didn't like the thought that it was hard for them to get across town with the traffic. You get down in Aqualane Shores or Royal Harbor, they were very concerned that once they got out of their neighborhoods, they couldn't get east. They were kind of trapped down there in the corridor. That was probably that and noise were the two things that that kind of popped out.
So from listening to those folks, is there anything that comes to mind for you that the City Council ought to be doing to address that?
Well, obviously, the traffic, we have to work on the traffic. It's a double-edged sword. Traffic keeps the businesses on 3rd and 5th and elsewhere in the city. brings them customers. We have to be able to get people easier east and west. You know, we're working on that, or they're working on that, 3rd Avenue South, 7th Avenue North, 10th Avenue North. The idea is you can get all the way from the beach, you know, to Goodlet. They're working on that. What I think needs to happen is we need to move some things out of the city. And I don't mean move them far, far away, but we can't continually drive all the, we have the business traffic that comes in there, and then if we have a parade or something like that, some of the parades, you know, bring a lot of people. 85% of the people, 85% of the people that go to the parades are county people. So what if we move those to Goodlet or something like that? That would take some of the pressure off the infrastructure. We need to make sure that we honor, when we do shut down the 5th Avenue, we need to make sure that we honor, or Cambier, that we honor the Naples businesses. For instance, Naples Art Shows. They're Naples. I mean, they say Naples Art Show. We need to make sure that those people always have a space, and that they don't get crowded out or shoved to bad times or anything by something that comes in from the outside, because we need to take care of our own people first.
When you say move things out, you're talking about events, not
Yes.
relocating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, yes.
Okay.
Is there any value to trying to reroute 41, the designated route of 41, away from downtown?
People I've talked to say it would be hugely, the cost would be huge, and you probably wouldn't solve the problem. I'm by no means a transportation engineer, but it makes sense to me.
You mentioned the other thing you heard about was noise. Is that airplane noise? Is it event noise? Is it traffic noise? Is it music from, live music from restaurants, all of the above?
Yeah, well, you know, I guess let's take it by neighborhood. If you're in Bayfront, you know, in fact, you know, there's quite a dog and pony show about that a year or two ago. The noise, you know, from having performances and things like that were bad. We were walking in Lake Park and talking to a gentleman that was a pilot. His name happens to be Hans Mueller. And as we were talking, we were just talking about the city and everything, and then a jet went over and he said, "Whoa, see that? You know, that bothers me." And then he said, "No, watch this." He said he should turn that way, and he's not going to. I think, what is this guy? Is he in the cockpit or something like that? I mean, you know, what happened is, he said he shouldn't do that. You know, he should have, if he went that way, it'd have been, you know, we wouldn't have got the noise. So, you know, the airport noise, you know, the airport's a huge economic engine for the community, over $200 million. But there are parts of the flight plan that people in it, their quality of life is disrupted. You know, you have to balance those kind of things. I mean, I was sat down next to a person at their pool one day, and it was later in the walking period, and I was actually happy that they asked me to sit down. And he's got black soot, you know, it comes from the fuel. So what can you do about that? I don't have an answer for that. You know, but I do know that we've had, for years, there's this contention about, do we have the airport? Do we not have the airport? I think it's all right. I think it's not all right. 80% of the people say we want to have commercial flights. Other people say it's not 80%. I think we need some fresh eyes on this subject. You know, whether it's from the council, but also we need to bring in some open-minded experts that don't ask us what they want to, what do we want to hear, but tell us what we need to know. That's what we got to have.
You mentioned fresh eyes. Is there anything that you've seen the city council do in the past couple of years that you looked at that and said, I wouldn't have done that?
The last 6 months, I don't like the way they're treating each other. That's a big thing. I think that's past politics. I think that's not getting along. There's always a certain amount of posturing and everything when you talk and you do those kind of things. But I think the way they're treating each other is not good. Not good at all.
You'd be part of a fairly not a completely new, but fairly substantially new council. What about some of the projects that are moving forward now? Baker Park, City Dock, Central Avenue. Do you see yourself continuing along those lines, or saying, no, let's stop and take a
No,
fresh look?
okay, let's take the dock. I spent a lot, as you probably know, I spent a lot of time in the Caribbean. When these big 150 footers, 140 footers pull up, they dump a lot of money while they're there. First of all, let's say they're $10 a foot to sit there a day. You know, plus they use electricity, plus people go off. You know, they reprovision, they do all those kind of things. I think we need to have a dock that matches the rest of the city. You know, as far as Baker Park, I'll be up front, and you already know I'm on the foundation board of Baker Park. I think that it's a wonderful thing. I was at the last night was the prelude to the Park 3, not a fundraiser last night, but just to go over all the plans and everything. You know, there's two sets of what people want for the park. One part, the two extremes. Let's rephrase that. One just wants green grass. We don't want one single poppy sticking his head up or anything. We want nothing but green grass. The other part wants Six Flags Naples. I'm not for either one of those. What we need to do, and you know, I can't emphasize this enough. We have to listen to what the people. You know, I thought the people did a pretty good job. I think there were 35 charrettes or something like that when they had the people come in and looked at the park, and then they gave them little red dots and they gave them green dots. If you like something, you put a green dot on it, shaded it, and they took all this input and they did this like 7 or 8 different places. And when they got all done, then some of council said, well, that's not what the people want. Holy cow. Why did you do that then? I mean, but I don't think anybody wants, the Six Flag part, and I don't think that they want to just have green grass. There's too much there to do it. It connects with the greenway. I mean, it makes it walkable, makes it bikeable. You got the kayaks. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with that. And obviously, you have to have restroom facilities. You have to have, if somebody wants something to eat and things like that, you have to make it a place to go to. That's where I am on that.
Is the current plan as budgeted just took a step forward in the last week or so? Is that in line with what you think is appropriate?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. You got to remember that there were 5 or 6 items that people had said that they would donate, and then that all got taken away. The council 4-3, I think, said no, we're not going to take these. Well, those people are still out there. They want to do some things. And that's not city money. It's not anybody's money. These are people that are going to donate that. And I think if you add some of those back in, that you'll be where you should be.
It's been a lot of back and forth about the 42-foot height limit and whether or not that covers underground structures or not. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. As you know, I sit on the PAB. And that the project you're talking about is McCabe's project. It went through PAB, was thoroughly vetted, passed 5-1, went on to City Council, and I think passed 6-1 there. The way it was explained to us by the city attorney, who is the interpreter of the charter and everything, was that it fell within the rights of what the builder could do. So we approved it. Now, if again we go back to the residents. If the residents don't like what's going on, they need to come to us. And I would certainly, and any elected official had better be open to talking to their constituents. But the only way that charter can be changed, City Council can't change it. The people can change it by a referendum, by a vote. So if the people come to council and they say we think that that's wrong, then we need to put it on the ballot, and then the people speak. And if the people speak, then that's it. Hopefully, that's what this is all about.
What about in terms of the overall downtown 5th and 3rd area? How do you see that developing and going forward?
Well, we go back to, it's interesting. People talk about Dewani, and everybody says Dewani's a great guy. But then if they don't like something that he did, then he's not a great guy. Part of what Dewani said in the plan of stores, residential, office buildings, is that there would be 4 parking garages down there. Now each city garage, I think the 2 we got right now each hold 350. So let's say the other two will hold 350. If even one of those garages, we had more, imagine taking 350 people or 350 cars off the streets. I mean, that helps a lot. You know, we have to make it so that customers can get to the stores, to the restaurants. We have to make, you know, and it's interesting too, if you sit down there on the outside eating something and you'll see cars going around. It's like when you were a teenager, you know, when you drive around town trying to be cool, you go through the Dairy Queen 50 times. People will drive up and down 5th for 20 minutes instead of going 2 streets over where there's parking and then walk back to 5th. So we need to work within the plan. But obviously we need more parking. I would, you know, if we had another garage, I think it would make a great bit of difference.
When you mentioned that you were walking through the River Park neighborhood. We all know about the major renovation of the pool and improvements to the pool down there. But aside from that, has the city done right by River Park through either the redevelopment area or just in general?
I think the city's made vast improvement there. I was amazed, you know, because you usually, any place in town, you drive by, you look at it from your car, but out walking there, you know, you're walking between the buildings and stuff. The grass is beautiful, it's clean, the bike racks are clean, the homes are clean. You know, there are fields off to the side. You walk farther back in there, you get back to Anthony Park, named after Willie Anthony, who I served with on the Fun Time Board for a while. Great representative of that area of town. Wow. I mean, it's not Central Park, but I mean, there's this beautiful land there. And the kids are out there playing. It was Sunday, kids are playing. That's what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to do those kind of things. You know, can we make it better? I guess we can always make it better. I mean, I think we need to be very careful that our children of the city of Naples have the best of what they need so that they can, no matter where they are in the economic ladder, that they have the things they need to improve themselves and make themselves better. We can't get enough. We don't have enough. I'm going around in circles, I apologize. We have to make it so that our kids can live here.
Does that include affordable housing?
Well, I think there needs to be some. You know, the interesting thing is the 1075 project, which is where we all had a seat at one time down there at the old Daily News site. That's supposedly workplace housing. The last rents I saw on that when it came by PAB was $1,980 for a 2-bedroom. That might be workplace at Wall Street. It's not a workplace here. I mean, you're talking about having 3 friends moving in with you, and then maybe you're all right. We have to build it, but then we have to be sure that it truly is. You know, that the numbers don't change. That, yeah, this is workplace housing, but nobody that works here can house there.
That almost implies the city would have to have a role in regulating the rent.
I would say yes.
And then you'd be okay with that if it's crafted properly? Or?
Yes, because we have to have a place for our, you know, not everybody here is of great means, but they're still citizens of our city, and they must be able to have a place to live here. We shouldn't exclude them because of that.
Is the city doing enough when it's in to protect the flow into Naples Bay?
I don't think so. Actually, I'm surprised that there hasn't been a bigger uproar than there is. As you know here, and correctly so, wildlife or turtles, etc., well, we shut off all the lights on the beach 5 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, and it's the effluent that comes out of the 10 outfalls is not good. It's not good for people. It's not good for the turtles. As you know, we got 10 outfalls that go. The ones north of Moines Line Road go into the bay. The ones south of Moines Line go into the Gulf. There are 10 of those, and they dump right there at the water's edge. So that's not good. It's not good. Talking to people and talking to the city, for $8 million, their number, not mine, you can take and build a pump house and build a place to treat the water. Now, this water is not going to be Naples best. You're not going to drink it, but we're going to take all the crazy stuff out of it. you have 2 outfalls, which are bigger. You bury them under the beach, and then under the seabed, you go out 1,000 feet, and then you discharge the water. That's $8 million, but it fixes a problem, and it fixes a problem for a long, long time. I mean, that would be a priority to me, that we fix that.
So rather than redirect that flow, you're basically saying take it further out?
Well, first of all, you treat it so you don't have all the bad things in it. That's a big scientific term. You put it underneath the beach, and then you put it underneath the sea bed, and you get it out there 1,000 feet, and then you put it in. Makes it safer, makes it safer for beach walkers, makes it safer for swimmers, make it safer for the turtles.
And then a lot of the flow into the bay is kind of outside the city's control, and it's coming through the watershed outside the city. But does the city council have a role in lobbying or leveraging different rules in the county to help with that?
Yes, they do. And the thing is I think the city's trying to do that. I mean, we've cut the, it's 1.5 billion gallons or something. We've got it down to 240 million or something like that, which is still not enough. When the Golden Gate, when all that out there was put together, nobody thought about water quality and where the water was going to. All they thought about is we're going to drain this because we're going to make land, and land we turn into lots, and lots we turn into houses, and houses we turn into money, and we turn, and all that. Some of the water now goes into Belmead. It'd be nice if we could get some more into that. Naples Bay is better than it was. I mean, we all know 4 or 5 years ago there was a question about whether it was salt water or brackish or fresh water there almost till you got out. But we need to look at that, and we need to do everything we can to. Now, another thing we've done is we've cut the use of potable water. I think like 27% in the last couple of years, that's very important. We're using what they call graze water. I'm sure you're all familiar with that to water, which is good to water but not to drink. We've done that everywhere we can, and I know there's more areas we're going to do. And all those things save the good water. We can only put so much in the aquifers; they only hold so much. But we need to probably get some of that money or some of that water pushed out to the side.
The present arrangement with the county having to do with beach parking, is it satisfactory? Does it need to be renegotiated?
I don't have a problem with it the way it is. My thing with the county, and you all know that I've done many things in the county, and I hold those relationships dear with them, is we're going to have to learn to work much closer with the county, and the county is going to have to learn to work much closer with us. Naples will always be the signature city in Collier County, there's no doubt about that. But we're going to have to learn to help each other. For instance, city's 5% of the county population pays 25% of the taxes ad valorem. Now, you can never give somebody something and then go back to them and say, I don't want to give you as much. That never works. I don't know, all you do is it gets contentious and people get mad. But just maybe, if you had a relationship with the county, you could sit down and talk to them. You could say, could you give me a little more for what I'm giving you? And that's what we got to do. We got to have more of a, you got to have them give us a little more for what we're paying them.
Is there any part of the city budget, city staff that you think needs to be looked at in terms of whether it's can be streamlined more?
That would be something that you really wouldn't have the hardcore answer unless you were there on council. But from what I see on the outside, and again working with these people for a long time, whether it's on the county looking in or being on boards and stuff, all I know is on the PAB, whenever we go to anybody in the county, we get the answer. We get cooperation. I mean, they don't just say we're going to push somebody else aside, but you'll get your answer in a day. No, and again, I said on council I may come back in 6 months and say, I missed that one. But from what I see, no, I don't see that.
We're closing in on our allotted time here. Reg, is there anything that you would like to cover that we haven't here?
Well, I guess I would like to close with the idea that I'm a leader who works well in building consensus and problem solving. I will work with the mayor, council, and the county commissioners to that end. It's a simple thing. We all got to work together. We'll have a better place. Appreciate you having me.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.